Motul Motostar British Championship, led off by pole sitter Ed Rendell on the Banks Racing 125 Honda, who braves it out through the first turn to fend off the KTMs of Jordan Weaving and the red line KTM of Joel Irving as they drop down the hill towards Cascades. A huge moment for Ryan Saxelby, for the 30-year-old veteran tuner of so many fast bikes, just clings on while the battle is waged at the front. Ed Rendell retakes the lead from Joel Irving, and they will fence their way like this right the way through the race, with the fast sweeping lines of the 125 counteracting the superior speed of the four-stroke 250s until this moment, just a couple of laps from the end, when Jordan Weaving tries to go through and does succeed in going through, but almost immediately is retaken by Rendell, so strong on the brakes. Once again, Jordan Weaving launches that move into Old Hall Corner and then looks round. Oh dear me, he looked round for a moment. That looked a bit dodgy, didn't it? And Ed Rendell led for so many laps, almost a dozen laps of this, 14 laps of this race, and then a mistake on the final lap by Joe Irving. He crashes out the Toten Tatey red line KTM, and number 34 Jordan Weaving takes victory overall. Ed Rendell a delighted second and leading 125 GP rider, but the South African now leads the championship. A fantastic start then as Jason O'Halloran launched into the lead initially in the Pirelli National Superstock 1000 Championship, but Danny Booker just held it on round the outside at Old Hall Corner, and from that moment on he was destined to disappear. Yes, he was chasing that 1 minute 36 lap. It didn't quite come, but he got damn near to it. There was a mishap on the first lap in which Josh Day lost the front of his Kawasaki and then fetched down the luckless Luke Quigley. Poor Luke hobbled off, the safety car came out, and that meant that everyone had a glimpse of Danny Buchan once again, but it wasn't to be for very long, as Dave Johnson made a dynamic restart and launched beneath his fellow Australian Jason O'Halloran. A mistake by the young Ulsterman Joshie Elliott meant that he had to deviate off track and rejoin, and then that moment when the luckless Jordan Simpkin got punted off at Shell Oils and into retirement, reluctantly I'm sure. Meanwhile, at the front, Jason O'Halloran launched himself underneath David Johnson, and he retook that second place. Danny Buchan running away at the front, but look at this battle going on behind him. O'Halloran was in there, Johnson was in there, the two Steve Brogan Racing Kawasaki's of Adam Jenkinson and Victor Cox were in there. Until this moment when Victor Cox ran wide with a couple of laps to go and ran on, hit the tyre walls. He was briefly unconscious, but all he had in the end when he came round was a suspected broken finger. Lucky boy. Danny Buchan, even luckier, a late 21st birthday present. This was the Pirelli National Superstock 600 round here at Oulton Park, and a couple of amazing starts, especially from that man who hits the front. Andrew Reid, from way back on the grid, just launched himself to the front. Really impressive start by the Belfast man. And he had to then fight off the Kawasaki's riding the FFX Yamaha. Down went the MWR Racing Kawasaki of his fellow Ulsterman Andy Irwin. And then a huge battle developed further downfield involving Dan Stamper, number 80 amongst others. And then a big moment and a collision going down the hill to Cascades. Fortunately, Nicky Anderson survived that collision and was able to come through relatively unscathed. Meantime, Kyle Ride was forcing his way through on the yellow machine, and it was Ride. Oof, and then we had a huge off down the hill. That was number 94 Greg Gilfallen. Fortunately, everybody in one piece. Meanwhile, we had another faller, Dan Stamper, who had a great race, dropped his Allied Racing Kawasaki, and that left Andrew Reid well and truly clear to take an absolutely decisive race win on the FFX Yamaha, his first race win in this category. Second place for Joe Collier, and James Lodge, the championship leader, just edges out Kyle Wright for third. What a great ride for Andrew Reid, his first victory in Superstock 6. The final race of the afternoon here at Oulton Park, the TriStar R&G Triple Triumph Challenge, and a storming, muscular start from Phil Atkinson shoves the British-based South African to the front, and that's a lead he's pretty much going to hang on to throughout the race until the closing stages, when it perhaps really mattered. Freddie Pett was in pursuit. Sam Cox got the better of this morning's winner, Tom Kahn. One of the riders ran straight on when he didn't wish to. That was number 91 going grass cutting, Christer Bohm from Sweden. But he regrouped to fight his way back through to 8th place. Meantime, Phil Atkinson briefly lost the lead to Freddie Pett and then retook the advantage. But Pett wasn't having it, and he launched himself back past, or attempted to, at Island Bend. Atkinson clung on. Sam Cox running in 3rd place. Now has a chance to launch his way past, but it's Freddie Pett who grabs the lead of Phil Atkinson, and it's Pett who takes victory. Cox grabs 2nd place for a disenchanted Atkinson. Great ride by Freddie Pett.